republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. Yes, big exciting news. We can start with 1A. We're thinking we'll postpone that for the main meeting.
I would like to, yes.
Okay. Wonderful.
Could you just tell us when that money is available, the DOT money?
I can. So, and that's fresh news this morning. We're going to be working on the joint participation agreement between FDOT and HART. It most likely will not be ready to go before our board until August. So, as part of the discussion that we're going to have today on the marketing side of it, and at the full THS board meeting, we won't be implementing the new service. The plan isn't to implement the new service until after the beginning of the fiscal year. It was likely like on October 1st or that week. So we have plenty of time to get the documentation needed to secure those funds. And the parameters of those funds of the allocation, is it $890 every year, or is it 2.7 for the use of over the 3 years? We're still hammering out those details with FDOT. I think we pretty much know what those answers are, but the money will be there. It's just a matter now of going through the process of securing it with the state. So
yeah, I just sort of asked because almost everything we talk about will be influenced by when that will come in. And
absolutely, right. And we're looking at, and I believe most of the discussions today, excuse me, that will be coming before you at this meeting and the next, will be focused on that beginning of the fiscal year time frame of when we would rebrand, when we would ribbon cut, when we have a lot of things we want to do with this money being the catalyst for it. So you are looking at the fiscal year, which gives us a few months to plan, a few months to iron out what that service will really look like, and event planning. And I mean, we're very, I don't want to sound like I'm not excited about it. I'm very excited about these funds and what we're going to be able to do with the streetcar now. But there are those logistic pieces that we need to secure, and a couple other things we need to secure. We need to secure the funding that's been provided by the special districts. We still need the city funding, and I'll get into all those details at the next meeting. But in answer to your original question, we're looking at the end of this fiscal year of getting that money secured and ready to.
So you can kick off the next fiscal year with the whole new deal.
Yes, sir.
And the city money that's freed up, the $230 for the in-towner, when does that money come available?
It'll be the fiscal year as well.
Okay, so everything will.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And just as you mentioned being excited, we too are excited and thank HART and staff and everyone
Jeff,
for working so hard to get these funds.
That was your idea to initiate that,
you
right?
pulled a giant rabbit out of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to hear more about that.
Yes.
It's pretty impressive.
I never heard of a cow come out of a hat.
I won't say it was a rabbit out of a hat, but it was. Yeah. And I know I had mentioned
you dragged that cat out.
But I had mentioned a couple of times that there were some conversations with FDOT that were ongoing, but I couldn't tell you exactly what that was. So,
and I didn't really guess. I mean, I was completely astounded when I got the call from Kenyatta. I was just completely astounded. So anyway, you can tell us.
I will tell you.
Okay. I'm
I'll tell you more
when I saw on Facebook.
Really?
Great. So wonderful. That's all exciting news, and I look forward to hearing more about it. Item B, Tico Line website and redesign, and mobile website. Would you like to give us an overview?
Sure.
That would be great.
Good afternoon, Chairman English and directors. I am Vanessa Brooks, the Marketing and Communications Director for HART. It is my pleasure to give you an update on where we are with the streetcar. I had a meeting last week, 2 weeks ago actually, with Catapult, who is the vendor working alongside of our Technology and Innovation Department, and wanted to find out exactly where we were with the streetcar since my predecessor. And wanted to find out exactly what were the thoughts behind the streetcar design at that time. And I did hear exactly what was said. It was more of a facelift design piece, but what I would like to suggest, and what I did suggest to Catapult, is that we refresh the entire website, meaning user-friendly navigation and all of the bells and whistles that we can get with the money that we have appropriated for the website. And I asked them to come back with a proposal, but after looking at some best practices around the industry. So there were a couple of agencies that I suggested that they take a look at their websites who have similar situations as ours, MARTA for one with their streetcar system, BART, DART, and to come back with some recommendations for best practices. I met again today with Catapult, and they have provided me with some information. I asked them to give me mock-ups by the second week in July so that I can bring those back to the board for a better look, feel, and design of the website. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I have a question. What, in terms of timing, what do you see, Vanessa?
I want to look at the mock-ups first and all of the things that I've asked them to add to the proposal. I would say before or at the start of the fiscal year 19, we should have the website up and running with the full.
So open our new deal with a new website.
Fully functional website, again, user-friendly, and very easy on the eyes, if you will. So I think you'll be pleased with what we come up with.
And it'll be a mobile app?
The mobile app, let me do some research on that, and I will have an answer for you by next board meeting.
Thank you.
Okay?
Ms. Vanessa.
Since he brought up mobile app and you referred to it, I had a constituent call me and tell me that he and his friends were not sure how to use the mobile app, and they wanted to know if we were going to have an instructional video on our website, maybe a YouTube video. I mean, I haven't looked at it, so I don't know.
Are you talking about Flamingo?
I'm talking about Flamingo.
Flamingo.
But also, I'm guessing if Flamingo is an issue, then there may be some other places. So we might want to thinking about how to show people how to be effective with these new tools. I mean, I don't think you need to do that with every page, but it might be just something to keep in the back of your mind for one more little feature that we might consider adding. And you may have that may have been on your list. I don't know. So, but thank you.
You're welcome, Director, and I certainly have that written down.
Ms. Vanessa, what is our overall budget for marketing department as well, and then specifically for website? Are you waiting to kind of hear back and then allocate?
I am actually reviewing the budget. As you all are aware, I've been here, I guess, about 2 months, short of 2 months. And so I'm trying to review budgets, look at what was allocated previously. I actually worked on the fiscal year 19 budget and submitted that. So I can provide you with those numbers. I don't have them in front of me. But as it relates to the website for the streetcar, I can tell you that I believe it was about $30,000 that was budgeted for the website. And when I spoke to the developer today with the enhancements that I would like to make to the website, it's going to be a little bit more. I do have a quote from him today, and I'd like to go over that, quite frankly, with Jeff before I advertise that to the public.
Okay, great. And Ms. Vanessa and I had a discussion over the phone a week or two ago, and she had some great ideas, and I think she wanted to have a little bit more time to put that together. So we thought we could maybe bring that up next month. But if anyone else has ideas that they want to make sure is part of her thought process, feel free to bring those up. We talked about driving advertising to the people rather than expecting people to come to the website. Although we do need the website to work, it's important, but most people want the information provided to them in social media aspects, whether it be Insta or Facebook or any of those avenues, and then updating stuff at each of the stops, and just kind of looking towards the age group that is currently living and working in Ybor and Channel District and downtown, and making sure we're capturing them the best we can. It may become some kind of a door-to-door volunteer program with some of the office towers to get some of those folks. I'm not sure how much Ms. Vanessa was buying in on that one. That might have been a little more of my idea, but some kind of a campaign to get to the businesses and allow them to, make an exchange for their employees to ride the streetcar versus park in the garage, because they are paying a huge premium and have a hard time finding those spaces in general. So just want to make sure we hit all aspects, including the website.
Yeah, if I could add to that, I think with the knowledge that we're going to have enhanced streetcar service, including morning hours, we need to really be thinking about outreach to the residents that are living along the line, and in particular, what I saw when I lived in Channelside was virtually no usage by the residents, and you could just see in terms of if you're riding the streetcar, who's getting off on and off on the two stops that serve Channelside Drive in the north-south direction. You have the one at York Street, and you have the one at, I forget the name of it, but it's just north of the Port office building, and which is, I guess, diagonally across from where Kennedy meets Channelside. And I never saw another soul, a resident, getting on or off at those points. And I just think there's got to be a way to directly reach those condo owners, and renters. Yeah. I know it's not easy necessarily to get a list of names from these buildings, but if we could sponsor little wine tasting or something where we can create a gathering and then give them the kind of information that they can use. Just the schedule alone, since we have 99.9% on-time service, if you have a schedule that you can carry around with you, then you know when the car will be at the station. So you don't have to wait around if you don't want to, There's just all kinds of information we've got to get to those people somehow,
Great. Agree?
Are they still selling? Are they sold out? Are those buildings in Channelside? Does anybody know? I would think we should be
mostly there are buildings under construction, so those aren't sold out.
There's some new ones under two, a hotel and a big fancy apartment complex. But the rest of the buildings are full.
That's another opportunity to be in that selling packet. To say if you move here, you don't need a car. If you work downtown, you can. Here's the schedule. Right. You can go back and forth. I don't know all the stops, so I don't want to pretend to, but you can.
Well, there are a couple of new buildings under construction, so that would be. We could certainly try and plug ourselves into the advertising.
Well, there's a new Publix that will open either later this year or early next year, and that's going to dramatically increase foot traffic in that area, probably from a lot of people who will use the streetcar to get to there and back, hopefully. And
one of the other big things would be that all the leasing agents and all the office towers downtown, they constantly, the first question they're asked is, where's the parking?
Yeah.
The CEO of the company is saying, where are my employees going to park?
Right.
So if they can say, here you go, if your employees live in the vicinity, or even if they don't, they can park and ride, and so as long as we gear them with that proper information, and then also the property management companies that represent the buildings, and that should be able to get out to the top people that are making the decision on whether they want to pay for an employee's parking or not.
Right.
And where they might be able to offset that, what that might like.
And we don't really have a park and ride for the streetcar.
Right there.
Right, but it's not ours.
No, it's the city of Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And much more affordable than parking downtown.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I'm not sure if you were here last month when we talked a little bit with Jeff about the problem facing the construction company that will have 3,000 or 4,000 workers working on Water Street, and free service is going to be very interesting because they can't park all these people down on Water Street
Right.
area. There's just no place for them. So we're hoping we can work a deal with the streetcar, city parking lots, private parking lots, and park all those people in Ybor, or several thousand of them anyway, every day, and take them to work
Bring them down.
and pick them up and take them up. So I'm sure Jeff will have something more to say about that
Yeah.
later too.
And one of the, to the points that were made about the residents up and down the line, if you recall when we started the pilot morning service, one of the complaints that we received was not knowing how long that was going to last, the duration,
Sure.
was it going to continue to be funded? So people didn't want to make life-altering decisions based on
A temporary.
exactly.
Temporary.
But we now know that we will be able to provide enhanced service for a number of years. So now that once we solidify what that service is going to look like, and then we approve the schedule, and we are going to go on a blitz on getting the word out, and marketing it, campaigning for it, the whole. There will be those that will, for the first time, go, "Oh, we have a streetcar," because we are going to make it look like a brand new service in the city of Tampa.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The new improved Coke.
Yeah,
You know, everybody went out and tried it, right? It's been around forever. Yeah,
It
that's
has,
what you're
but
going to have to be, is the new and
it's a
improved
new day.
streetcar. I don't know, maybe we should take historic out of it.
It's a little hard to change the
I
name.
know. I'm just kidding. I mean, there may
come a day though with
Yeah.
modern vehicles.
we want them to look historic. We just don't want people to think they're just some dinosaur. You know, how do you brand it that this is new and exciting? Like you say, that some people are saying, I didn't even know that was for us. I thought that was just for tourists. Like, no.
Right.
And that's
It's
an
a
excellent.
mode of transportation.
That's an excellent point, Director. We want to make sure that everyone is aware that the streetcar is not simply for tourists, that the streetcar is for everyone. So we will be looking, and we've already started doing research on the various target audiences. I will be working very closely with Jerry in business development to identify those new developments that are coming up and how can we get our information into their sales packets, but also doing some door knocking simply in the community here. I have done a couple of rides and drive-bys just to see what's in this area, and there are a lot of opportunities for us to market the streetcar. So as Jeff said, you will see a full-blown marketing plan, and you will see us appealing to target audiences that we probably have not thought about before, but we will touch with our new campaign.
And we'll bring this back as an economic development opportunity for businesses that want to move their retail establishments in Ybor and their headquarters in downtown and everything in between.
And also the current existing businesses. I think we should also partner with those businesses as well. And Abby and I talked about maybe a perks program that we entice people to ride the streetcar. If you go to a business in Ybor and say you can show proof that you rode the streetcar, well, for you doing that, I'm a partner with HART, so I'll give you half off of a soft drink or a complimentary French fry. We want to take it back into the businesses in the community to let them know that they have a vested interest in this as well. And wherever public transportation is, communities grow as well as economics. So we are going to plan some things around the businesses as well.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So that brings us to line item C, the Streetcar Fest. Jeff, is this more?
Vanessa.
That would be me.
Stay up there.
I just stay. I've been talking with the team about the upcoming Streetcar Fest, just trying to get some historical data on what we've done in the past. And quite frankly, some of the questions that I asked as it relates to the streetcar is how much effort and time did the staff devote to streetcar festivities, and what was our purpose? And I've received information that people say, oh, it builds goodwill. And I said, okay, and I love building goodwill and building the brand, but what does it do for sustained increases in ridership? So just still filtering and asking questions of the staff as it relates to streetcar. And it's to my understanding that it is a lot of staff time and a lot of effort involved. And I'd like to come back to the board after having a conversation with Jeff and see if we can maybe come up with something different and innovative where perhaps we can still have something, but that it has more. I'm not going to say that previous events didn't have significance, but that we have more of an opportunity to increase ridership, but to sustain that ridership after the event is over.
So to that point, the timing of the Streetcar Fest is October. Mm-hmm. This October is an opportunity for us to actually make an event, and it doesn't have to be called Streetcar Fest, but it can center around the streetcar, the rebranding of the streetcar, the ribbon cutting of the streetcar. We had also talked about, and President English and I had multiple conversations about the burning. And if there was the opportunity to get the between now and October to get it at least up to presentable standards, a rededication. Already reached out to former Mayor Greco to see if he would be willing to be part of the festivities, and tentatively, great idea. So to really make October like a rebirth of the Tampa Streetcar and focus the staff attention on the revitalized market plan, events around the rebranding, the new service, and really make it something much more than what it has been in the past, where it's really focused on the cars itself and the initiation of the new service. So this is typically the time of year that we would start with staff going out looking for sponsors. And I'm not saying that we still wouldn't want to do that, but I think within the next 30 days, when we come back in July, we're going to, one, have a service model for the full THS board to approve or consider. We should have a tentative marketing strategy of how we want to pursue this going into the fall, and then an idea of what we want to do in October. So we still want to do something in October, but it's going to have a different feel and a different look. So that's sort of what we wanted to, correct?
That is correct, yes.
I think that would be a great time, as staff has mentioned in the last several years, that each year it's a fest, and so maybe this would be the transitionary year, and it may not be a fest each year after that. I'll throw out one crazy idea that I'm not sure could ever be accomplished this year, but if there was some way to get the streetcar and then a supplementary vehicle up to the original trolley barn.
So we actually, it was with Ruthie, right? Yeah. We had that conversation actually about having something there with, we actually did talk about that, just throwing out ideas that would be kind of cool.
Delighted, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sure he would.
So I'm glad it's coming from me and not him.
Well, but that means we lay some extra tracks and run it up there, you know. No big deal.
Yeah, but we did talk about having something at that location ceremonially to kick off the new service would be kind of cool. So,
do you still have the truck available that can pick up the streetcar?
We let us work on some ideas what that would look like.
I mean, okay.
Very good.
But that's a great idea.
So I think this is all good. Streetcar Fest has probably, one of the big deals was everybody rides free. Well, everybody's going to be riding free every day. Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, I won't say it's gotten stale. It hasn't, but this is we're moving into a different era. Hopefully it's a permanent change in how the streetcar operates, and the extension of the streetcar looks a little bit more promising than it did 2 weeks ago. It's a big commitment from DOT, and so I think that a different way to spin this it's about time. And Dick Greco would be really fun. I bumped into him recently, and he's his usual ebullient self, and he would probably be delighted to come and participate, since he really was the seminal guy. He was the guy that made it happen.
I'll be happy to get in touch with him if you want me to.
Dave's a pal of his.
Vanessa will be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Great. So, would anyone else like to have any more discussion on the streetcar Streetcar Fest itself, or should we table that
I
until?
think it's just that you're going to come back next month with a plan.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the date? Do we have a fixed date on that, or no?
No,
Okay.
not right now.
No, not at the
Don't have
moment.
a date.
It depends on when we're going to start the service. It depends on when. There's a lot of. It'll be in October because that's when we wanted to focus around when the service starts. So we'll have more detail.
We'll have more details
Yeah.
next month.
And as to the Bernie, Tim Borchers dragged his feet a little bit and then went to Australia with his family for 3 weeks. So he'll be back, I think, this coming weekend, and I'm going to jump on him and get this done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, the sooner. I mean, we've got the money. If we can get that rolling soon, we may be able to. Hopefully, that's my goal is to include that in the festivities in October, one way or the other.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Excellent.
That's the plan.
Perfect, thank you. So
Good.
moving on to information item number 2, the 4th of July festivities at Fort Brooke.
The city of Tampa has scheduled fireworks in Channelside, and we are proposing to extend the hours. Excuse me, just a moment. Proposing to extend the hours of the streetcar, and I believe also to make it complimentary. I apologize. I'm just trying to read through. Let's see. Yes, that is correct. That we're proposing actually for the 4th of July, which falls on a Wednesday, that we commence service at 7:30 p.m. and that the regular service hours during the week are normally until 10 p.m. In the past, we've extended the hours, and we're proposing to do that again this year to extend the hours. I believe it is from 4 until midnight.
Right.
But 4 p.m. until midnight. That is correct.
And we can afford to do that. Okay. Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you very much. That concludes the marketing committee report from me. I'll be happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other business pertaining to marketing that you'd like to discuss?
Dave, anything?
No.
You know, we're gonna be very interested in the game plan
Yes.
and the story, of course. But
So with that, we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.